There is a certain expression in the eyes of people who've endured far too much. It isn't simply exhaustion, and it isn't age. It's the gaze of a soul that has lived dozens of lifetimes inside one body. If you often feel older than your actual years, or strangely detached from the trivial dramas of daily life because you've made it through experiences that would crush most people, pay attention to this. You probably tell yourself you're damaged. You may feel drained, cracked, or convinced that whatever spark you once had is gone. Psychology, however, paints a very different picture. We talk endlessly about post-traumatic stress, but almost never about its quiet counterpart, post-traumatic growth. If you've walked through fire and reached the other side, you didn't merely survive, you developed a rare set of psychological strengths that people with easy lives will never truly have. These are the signs that trauma has forged you into something far harder to break. The first strength is what I'd call high-resolution empathy. Most people skim the surface of pain. They understand it in theory. You understand it in texture, weight, and temperature because you've lived in the dark. You can recognize someone else standing there from far away. You've probably noticed that strangers confide in you almost immediately. Deep stories, raw truths, shared within minutes. That's no coincidence. You've shed the judgment that usually blocks real connection. You know how delicate life is, so you don't waste energy on shallow exchanges. There's a depth to you that draws other wounded, healing people in. You become a refuge simply because you know how unbearable it feels to have none. Feeling this deeply is a gift, but it's also tiring if left unguarded. And your past didn't just make you softer, it also made you tougher where it counts. That leads to the second trait, your capacity to function in chaos. Psychologists call this crisis competence. When an average person faces sudden disaster, a health scare, financial collapse, unexpected loss, their nervous system floods with panic. They freeze. You, on the other hand, often grow calmer when things unravel. Your stress baseline has shifted. You've already survived hell. A flat tire or a harsh remark can't rattle you because you've faced far worse and lived. While others spiral, you become the still center of the storm. You plan, you adapt. You're not cold or detached. You're seasoned. Your resilience is so developed that events which would ruin someone else barely register for you. Still, being the calmest person in the room is just survival. The real rarity shows up later, when the crisis passes and you choose who to be. This is the third and most powerful strength, radical authenticity. Suffering leaves no patience for pretense. Once you've lost everything or been pushed to the edge, the ego thins out. You stop trying to impress people who don't matter. You stop chasing symbols of status that ring hollow. Those who haven't struggled are often terrified of judgment, hiding behind masks. You burned yours long ago just to stay warm. You speak plainly, even when it's uncomfortable. You value time over money because you know nothing is guaranteed. That honesty unsettles people living a lie, but it magnetizes those searching for something real. You're genuine in a synthetic world. So it's time to rethink what broken means. In Japan, there's an art called Kintsugi. When a bowl shatters, it isn't discarded, it's repaired with gold. The cracks aren't hidden, they're honored. The bowl becomes more valuable and stronger than before. That's you. You aren't worn out, you're a vessel reinforced with gold. Your fractures aren't defects, they're evidence of expansion. You can hold more light precisely because you were broken open. Don't envy those who had an easy road. They're delicate. You are anti-fragile. You were forged in fire, and that kind of strength can't be bought, taught, or imitated.